All right, so like imagine you're walking into a restaurant, but the menu isn't just paper. It's like a portal. It's like a deeper connection with the customer. And that's kind of the potential we're looking at with QR codes in restaurants. And we're going to go deep on this. How can these things transform your restaurant? We've gotten some info on Automate Solutions for this company. They're promising some pretty big things with their QR code system. So let's unpack it all and see if the hype is really matching the reality here.
Yeah, what's interesting to me about Automate Solutions is that they're focusing on not just the technology, but the strategy behind using it too. So they're offering this 14-day free trial with 3 starter QR codes. You get a menu, a Google review, and a gift certificate campaign. That's a smart way, I think, just to kind of dip your toes in the water. See how customers respond.
Yeah, okay, so you get a little taste. You get a taste of what QR codes can do. But then after the trial, it jumps up to $97 a month for unlimited codes. Plus, there's a $77 setup fee for any extra landing pages. So
let's dig into the numbers here and see what kind of return could you actually see.
Well, the projections from Automate Solutions, they're pretty eye-catching. They're saying that the average engagement rate, for QR codes in casual dining is about 10-15%. So if you're getting, 40 or 50 customers coming through your door every day, that's like what? Roughly 4 to 8 scans per code every single day. Now, that may not sound like a lot, but you got to think about that compounded over a month, over a year. It really adds up. Yeah, and remember, it's not just, passive views here. These are scans. It's active customer engagement. Every interaction. It's another potential data point that you can use to really understand your customers better. So let's take that gift certificate campaign, for example. Automate Solutions is suggesting about a 50% participation rate. So you could be adding 40 to 75 new email contacts to your list. Every single month.
Yeah, that's a gold mine for targeted marketing. Think about it. You can send personalized offers. You can promote new menu items, stay top of mind, with these customers through email newsletters and things like that. That direct communication, that can be a game changer for a restaurant.
And it's not just about building a list, right? It's about turning those contacts into actual paying customers. But let's assume even a modest, $20 average ticket. That's an extra $40 to $80 in revenue per month. Just from those follow-up campaigns to those gift certificate entries. That's a pretty solid return on $90, $70 monthly investment.
Yeah, certainly. It points to a positive ROI. But it's important to remember, these are just projections. The actual results will depend on a lot of factors. How well you actually integrate those QR codes into your overall marketing strategy and the quality of your follow-up campaigns.
Right. It's not just slapping a code on the table and calling it a day. You got to think about it. Creating a compelling call to action, designing engaging landing pages and really nurturing those customer relationships over time. You got to be thinking strategically. About how those QR codes fit into your larger business goals.
Absolutely. And for instance, let's look at the impact of Google reviews. A whopping 87% of people, they check reviews before they visit a local business. And studies have shown that a 10% increase in your Google reviews can boost revenue by 4 or 9%. It's a pretty big jump. Especially, if you're doing like $10,000 in revenue a month, you're looking at an extra $400 to $900 per month just from positive reviews.
Yeah. That's a pretty compelling argument for encouraging customers to leave reviews right. And a QR code can make that process super seamless. Imagine this. You're just finishing up this delicious meal, and instead of fumbling with your phone, trying to find the restaurant on Google, you just scan a QR code.
Boom.
You leave this glowing review in seconds.
Yeah, it streamlines that whole process for the customer. And it makes it way more likely that they'll actually take that extra step to leave a review. It's all about removing those points of friction and making it as easy as possible for the customer to engage with your business.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the menu QR code itself, I get it. Some people love the tactile experience of holding a physical menu. But the reality is that 85% of diners actually prefer digital menus these days.
Yeah, it makes sense. Digital menus offer a level of convenience and control that you just can't match with a traditional paper menu. You can zoom in on descriptions, translate it into different languages, filter by dietary restrictions. You're empowering the customer. Giving them the information they need right there at their fingertips.
Plus, you got to think about the cost savings and the sustainability aspect. No more printing new menus every time you update your offerings or adjust prices. You can make changes on the fly, highlight your daily specials, even personalize the menu based on customer preferences. It's a win-win for both the restaurant and the diner.
And it also opens up some exciting possibilities for upselling and cross-selling. Think about it, you could add enticing photos to your signature dishes. showcase customer reviews, suggest wine pairings alongside menu items. You can create a more engaging, interactive experience that encourages customers to really explore your offerings and ultimately spend more.
Okay, so we're seeing how these individual elements, you've got the gift certificate campaign, the Google reviews, the digital menu, they're all contributing to this bigger picture.
Yeah, it's a holistic approach to customer engagement, leveraging those QR codes, you're collecting valuable data, building relationships, and ultimately driving revenue growth.
And automate solutions. They're claiming that when used effectively, their system can bring in an extra $7,280 to $16,760 per year. For a restaurant. Now, those numbers sound almost too good to be true, but I mean, even if you achieve a fraction of that potential, it's still a significant boost to your bottom line.
Yeah, it definitely highlights, the potential return on investment here. But we got to remember success with any marketing strategy, QR codes included. It hinges on a lot of different factors. The numbers might be compelling, but let's take a deeper look at what influences whether a restaurant will actually see that kind of return.
Okay, so we've seen the potential upside. But what could make or break a QR code strategy for a restaurant? What are those things? Those factors that really determine whether those impressive numbers translate into real-world results. We'll dig into those questions in just a moment, so stay tuned. All right, so we're back. And we've been talking about how QR codes can really boost a restaurant's bottom line. Automate solutions. They're painting this really rosy picture, but let's get down to the nuts and bolts here. What really separates a successful QR code strategy from one that just ends up gathering dust on a table?
Implementation. Implementation is key. It's not enough to just print a QR code and, expect customers to magically flock to it. You need to have a plan. You got to integrate it seamlessly into your operations and your marketing efforts.
Right. So it's more than just saying, hey, look, we have QR codes now. So what are some concrete steps that a restaurant owner could actually take to make sure those codes are working for them and not against them?
Well, I think one way to look at it is think of those QR codes as gateways to a more personalized customer journey. So start by considering your target audience. Think about their needs, their preferences, even their tech savviness. If you're a family-friendly restaurant, you might want to highlight those kids' menu options on your QR code landing page. But if you're a fine dining establishment, you might want to focus on creating a more immersive, digital experience that showcases the chef's artistry.
It's like tailoring your digital storefront to match the vibe of your physical space. You wouldn't decorate a steakhouse like a tea room, so why would your QR code experience be generic, right?
Exactly. And then you also want to consider your marketing objectives. What are you actually hoping to achieve with these QR codes? Is it about driving traffic to your online ordering platform? Are you trying to build an email list for targeted promotions, boost your social media engagement?
Right. It's a QR code. It's not like a magic bullet. It's a tool, and you got to use it strategically to reach your goals.
Absolutely. And once you have a clear understanding of your audience and your objectives, then you can start getting creative with how you actually use those QR codes. So let's go beyond the basics. The menus and the reviews. What if you offered exclusive discounts or promotions to customers who scan a specific code?
Oh, like a digital treasure hunt?
Yeah,
that adds an element of fun, encourages interaction. And from the business side of things, you can track exactly how many customers are engaging with that offer.
Exactly. Or how about linking a QR code to a video? Showing your chef preparing a signature dish. It gives people a little behind-the-scenes peek, adds a personal touch, generates excitement around your food.
Yeah, it's like a mini documentary, bringing the story behind the food to life. People love feeling connected to that, the process, the people, the passion behind what they're eating.
Absolutely. You could even use QR codes to gather feedback from your customers in real time. So instead of those, dusty old comment cards that nobody ever fills out, a simple survey linked to a QR code allows your customers to give you instant feedback while their dining experience is still fresh in their minds.
Yeah, and that's valuable data. You can use that to improve your service. You can tweak your menu, address any issues before they escalate. And it shows your customers that you actually value their opinions.
Right. And speaking of valuing customers, I think it's worth addressing a concern that some restaurant owners might have. Some folks might think that QR codes are a bit last year, like a fleeting trend. That's already had its moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. We've seen technologies come and go. Remember those tablets they tried to put on every restaurant table a few years ago? So what do you say to those people, those skeptics, who think that QR codes are on their way out?
Well, the pandemic definitely accelerated the adoption of contactless technologies, and QR codes were just a natural fit for that shift. People became more comfortable using them for menus, ordering, even payment.
Yeah, it just became the safer, more convenient option. And those habits have kind of stuck around even as things have gone back to, you know, a new normal.
Right. Plus, everybody has their smartphone glued to their hand these days. QR code scanners are built into most phone cameras now. You don't need a separate app or fiddle with settings. It's incredibly easy to use.
Yeah, even my technophobe aunt can scan a QR code these days. And that ease of use is really key to getting customers on board.
And let's not forget the cost effectiveness. I mean, QR codes are a relatively inexpensive way to enhance the customer experience, gather data, and streamline your operations.
Yeah, compared to printing new menus every time there's a price change or a seasonal special. I mean, QR codes are a dream, not to mention the environmental benefits.
Right. So while some might dismiss them as a passing fad, I think QR codes have really proven their value, and they're definitely here to stay, especially in the fast-paced world of restaurants.
Yeah, they're adaptable, they're affordable, and when you use them strategically, they can be such a powerful tool for restaurants, trying to connect with their customers in a meaningful way.
But I think it's also important to acknowledge that, no technology is perfect. There are limitations. So let's take a realistic look at some of those potential downsides or challenges that restaurant owners should be aware of.
Okay, so we've heard the good. Now let's talk about the not so good. What are some of the potential pitfalls to avoid? What are some things that could trip up a restaurant owner who's eager to jump on the QR code bandwagon? We'll explore those questions in just a moment, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to our deep dive on QR codes for restaurants. We've explored the potential benefits, the strategic considerations, and even, some of the challenges. But let's step into the future for a second. What's next for these little squares? Are they just going to be like static links forever, or is there something even more exciting on the horizon? Oh, the future of QR codes. It's anything but static. We're seeing some really cool innovations that could totally revolutionize how restaurants interact with their customers. One trend that's gaining a lot of momentum is the integration of QR codes with augmented reality, or AR.
Okay, now we're talking. For those who might not be familiar, AR overlays those digital elements onto the real world, usually through your smartphone or a tablet. I've seen some really cool AR experiences, in museums, art galleries. But how would that work in a restaurant?
Well, imagine this. You scan a QR code on your menu, and suddenly you see this 3D model of your dish, rotating right there in front of you. You get information about the ingredients, the nutritional value, even where those ingredients came from.
Wow, that's like taking knowing your food to a whole new level. It's like having an interactive food encyclopedia right there at your table.
Exactly. AR can create this much more engaging and informative dining experience. Especially for people who are really visually oriented. You could even use it for, fun interactive games. Or promotions that really bring the restaurant's brand to life.
Yeah, I can see it now. Kids scanning a code and their favorite cartoon characters popping up on their plates. Or maybe you do like a virtual wine tasting where you scan a code and you learn about the different regions and the flavor profiles. The possibilities are kind of endless.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the visuals either. Another really exciting development is using QR codes for personalized recommendations.
Okay.
And even dynamic pricing.
Okay. Personalized recommendations, dynamic pricing. I'm intrigued. Break that down for me.
So picture this. You scan a QR code, and the menu actually adjusts based on your past orders, your dietary preferences, even the time of day. It's like having a digital concierge who knows exactly what you like and can suggest dishes you're most likely to enjoy.
That's pretty cool. No more endlessly scrolling through a menu, trying to remember what I ordered last time. It's like the algorithm knows me better than I know myself.
Right. And then from the restaurant side, they can use that data to implement dynamic pricing strategies. So they could offer discounts or promotions based on demand, customer behavior, even real-time inventory levels.
That's fascinating. It's like those ride-sharing apps that adjust prices based on demand. It's all about optimizing, your pricing and inventory to really maximize your profit.
Exactly. So we're seeing QR codes evolve from these simple links to becoming intelligent tools that personalize the dining experience and even help restaurants make better business decisions.
Yeah. It's like they're becoming the digital brain of the restaurant, connecting the customers, the data, and the operations, all in this seamless way.
Exactly. And as technology keeps advancing, we can expect QR codes to become even more sophisticated, even more integrated into our lives, and restaurants are going to be leading the way.
Okay, so we've covered the present, we've covered the future of QR codes, but let's bring it back to our listener. You know, the restaurant owner. What's the one key takeaway here? What's the one thing they should really remember about QR codes as they're navigating this ever-changing world?
I think the key takeaway is this. QR codes are not just a trend. They represent a fundamental shift in how businesses connect with their customers. And restaurants that embrace this technology, they can create a more engaging, personalized, and ultimately more profitable dining experience.
Yeah, it's about embracing those possibilities of a connected world and recognizing that these little squares, they can be so much more than just links to a menu.
Absolutely. It's about using them strategically. You gather your data, you build relationships, you streamline your operations, and enhance that overall customer experience.
So to our listener out there, we encourage you to think beyond the menu. Experiment with different QR code campaigns. Gather that data. Analyze the results. And keep iterating to find what really works for you. Don't be afraid to get creative and explore some of those futuristic possibilities we were just talking about.
It's a journey of discovery, and the only limit is your imagination.
That's right. Well, on that note of endless possibilities, we're going to wrap up this deep dive into the world of QR codes for restaurants. We hope you gained some valuable insights and that you're feeling inspired to unlock the full potential of these little squares.
Until next time, happy scanning.